Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alton Henry, and I would like to talk to you under underrated movies. Patriots Day with Mark Wahlberg. And I like to say this first before I even start the whole thing. Hold on. That it seems like it's a common trend, or when tragedy strikes and it affects the country, or any global incident that happens in the world, or like September 11th, or like the Boston bombing, and there has to be a movie like a year or two after it. There's been a trend of that. I don't remember what was the last one. I know there was one that happened recently and they made a movie about it. I'm sure there's a movie about the Boston bombing. I'm sure there's another one. I don't know where it is. I'm sure there's another one. I did watch a documentary regarding the Boston bombing before on HBO about a year ago about this couple. But anyway, it seems to be there's a common trend after a big historic event in history, or not even just the United States, that there has to be a movie behind it. So anyway, I just wanted to stick that out there. All right, Patriots Day. I don't really need to tell you much of the story, because it's about a security guard who witnesses the events at the Boston bombing and the manhunt that leads to the apprehension of the bombers. Now, this movie didn't do well at the box office. Advertised, I don't think anybody really wanted to watch a movie. They just got off the that tragedy back in 2013. I feel it was like 2013, and the movie came out 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. It really, I don't think people were ready to watch a fictional story retelling the events of that. And I think it was too soon. It was too soon for them to make a movie like that, even though the movie was good. The movie is good, but it was pretty risky for them to just pull a movie right out of their bums and try to get people to watch it. I mean, it was risky, and it hurt the box office for that film, because they decided to make a movie literally just like right after the event, like a year or two after it happened. So I think that was kind of unfair for people to watch that. But the movie is good. I really enjoy this movie. The cast really good in this. I've been saying that a lot. Mark Wahlberg really stands out in this movie. I think I like him a little bit more in this film than the other two films that he starred in with Peter Berg, Lone Survivor, and Deepwater Horizon, which both underrated movies, which I might talk about one of them. But I think this one was probably the most underrated one out of all three. I think Mark Wahlberg's performance here really stands out. He's really a character. Your everyday man has a little of a leg disability injury, and when he witnesses this event, it strikes him deeply, just like any other character in the film, which you don't really get to know a whole lot, really, because it's more on Mark Wahlberg's character, and everything is procedural after that, which I kind of liked that the movie tackled procedural political aspects of it. And I'm a sucker for, I think, like political action movies. This kind of throws back to me with old classic action movies like The Siege and Clear and Present Danger. It really had that old vibe to it of those procedural chase political action movies. It really struck a chord to me, and I think that's why I kind of enjoyed it a whole lot more. I really like the direction with this, where Peter Berg kind of took his time, following procedural after procedural, and it's really intense. Where it's really intense and interesting, where you just listen to a bunch of people just blab about how they're going to resolve a situation angrily and aggressively, just to make it entertaining. And it's entertaining, and next thing you know, they're all yelling at each other. And it's thinking back to one specific scene where John Goodman um, tells Kevin Bacon, like, I'll call this, like, the mayor or somebody, or he calls the mayor. It's like, I'll get on the phone. I'll call him right now. He slams the table with his hand. Cliche moment. Slams the table. You got to slam the table to get everybody's attention to make a big point in a movie. I just noticed that. But the way they shot it, it's like they shot it from one point of view, and then they end up right when John Goodman's about to do it, and then the next shot, you see his hand kind of go on the table. I don't know, that part, it just felt like that was overdone. I think we seen tons of characters who wants to slam their hand against something to grab everybody's attention and make a point, to make a speech. But this, since modern times, they avoided the whole long speech thing for that moment. But they didn't entirely. Mark Wahlberg has a speech towards the end of the movie. He does. So they don't get rid of that cliche moment entirely. So just letting you know. But the procedural sequences here are really good and really intense. They really had me at the edge of my seat as to how they're going to resolve the situation, how they're going to capture these terrorist people. The characters in the movie. The actors on this are really good, and I hope they get more work, because one of the actors, I don't remember the one of them's name. He has a mole on his cheek. If anybody states his name out, please let me know. He has this movie coming out called Hereditary, and he had another movie that came out previously with Jumanji, Back to the Jungle. He was pretty good in both of those movies, including Patriots game. The other actor who plays the older brother, he's really good in this, and I hope he gets more work. Michelle Mulligan, if that's her name right, they always have her play like a wife who is really displeased with the situation what her husband does, and I don't know. She's a good actress. I want her to branch out a little bit more and do something more. In her career, I want her kind of just branch out. I feel like she's been typecast, because she was really good in True Detective season 1, and she's been typecast. The shootout scene, one of the best shootout scenes I've seen in a movie. One of the best. I'm saying it is one of the best, one of the most intense scenes in this. And then when the scenes with the Boston bombing are really intense too. I really don't have any issues with this movie, except they do have some cliche moments here in the film where they could have done without it. They could have done without it. They could have just went procedural and just word it. I don't know, just work the way around and just make its own thing. And it is unfortunate, again, the movie came out like 2 years right after the Boston bombing, and and the movie didn't perform as it should have. I mean, it's a good movie. But it is a common trend, when something tragic happens in our world or in our nation, there has to be a movie made right after that. Sometimes the movie could either just be an insult to those people who suffer during that time, or it could be, a remembrance, a honorable remembrance to the victims who lost their lives during that event. And this one honored those people who put in the effort to try to do what's right during that time. And I think that's all I have to say about that. But this was a really good movie. I do recommend it. I think the movie should have gotten more attention. I think they should have held it off at least 3-5 more years before making this film, just to get people, time to leave away from the Boston bombing event, and then they could have revisited with a movie. I thought it was just too soon for that movie to even exist. Too soon to exist. And I think that's where the movie kind of hurts itself a bit, but the movie is good. So I highly recommend you watch Patriots Day. Mark Wahlberg, Kevin Bacon, John Goodman, and many others. You could, And if you like this video, you can, or you can like it, or you can follow me on Stardust. I have more reviews on Stardust. Again, this channel is only for underrated movies that I feel that movies that I want to just review a little bit more in detail, and hopefully you go out and check this movie out. And I'll see you guys in my next video.